be making birria tacos. Now, let's talk about this. There are a lot of ways to make this, but there's a very specific way that I prefer them, which is with the consomme, which is technically not like the consomme that I'm imagining. The consomme I imagine is like clarified in French. You essentially get a rich, sort of slightly thick soup that you then dunk these meaty, rich, fatty, cheesy tacos. But we're not just gonna do tacos, we're gonna make them queso tacos. It's a quesadilla and a taco. What more could you possibly want? You've seen images of this dish all over the web. It's taken the internet by storm, and there's a good reason for it. It's one of my favorite taco dishes of all time, so with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
Right, so birria is traditionally served at celebratory occasions, so that goes to show the amount of attention to detail and love that goes into this. Pay close attention. The original birria is typically made with goat meat, which is lovely, but I decided to opt for beef on this, hence. Season those all generously with salt. In a large pot, add enough oil to coat the bottom, something high heat like canola, and heat over medium-high heat until screaming hot. Add your meat in batches and sear about 2 to 3 minutes on all sides until you get a nice, beautiful, deep brown crust all over each piece of meat. Repeat with all of your meat, placing it to the side as you work. Look, color is so important here. Please, no gray meat, all right? This isn't Grey's Anatomy. Now look at that lovely fond on the bottom of the pot. That's what you want. Now discard of any burned oil left in the bottom. Add another couple tablespoons of neutral tasting fresh oil. Place that back on the medium heat. Then add 1 chopped yellow onion. Saute that just until it begins to soften. Then add 1 tablespoon or 12 grams of tomato paste. Cook that down until the paste begins to darken and stick to the pan. Then add 8 cloves of sliced garlic. Saute until fragrant. Then add 2.5 quarts or 2.25 liters of a rich beef stock. From there, add your dried chilies, then separately get a piece of cheesecloth and in the center, add 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of black peppercorns, 1 tablespoon or 5 grams of toasted coriander, 1 cinnamon stick, and 6 bay leaves. Fold all the sides together and tie tightly with cheesecloth, and now you have a little sachet of flavor. Toss that in your stew, bring that up to a light simmer, and cover it with a lid and braise for 1 hour. Stirring occasionally. Once that hour is up, fish out them chilies. Then place them in a blender along with a cup or 2 of your liquid and blend until smooth. You'll get a nice vibrant orange puree. Pour that back into your stew, bring it back up to a simmer, then place the lid on and braise for an additional 1.5 hours or until your meat is so tender that it jiggles at the mere sight of your lips. Now remove the meat, discard of any bones, and shred the meat and fat together as chunky or as fine as you'd like. I like mine sort of medium fine, you know, some chunks for variance, but mostly nice and thready, and emulsified with its fat. Season your leftover broth with salt, leave it to the side. Use the freshest corn tortillas you can find. Then dunk your corn tortilla in the broth completely, which should have a vibrant thick layer of reddish orange fat floating on top that'll coat the tortilla nicely. Place it on a medium cast iron skillet, set over medium heat. Top that with a generous amount of your shredded Oaxaca cheese. Let that cook just until the cheese is nice and melted. A blowtorch helps too. Then on one side of your tortilla, add a generous helping of your braised shredded meat. Drizzle a large spoonful of your consomme onto your meat. Really let it soak it up. Fold your taco over and let it cook for 1 to 3 minutes. Flip and toast the other side until both of the sides have been toasted nicely and the cheese is completely melted. serve these bad boys, get a small ramekin or bowl, fill it with your broth or, well, consomme. Top with some finely diced sweet onion and rough chopped cilantro, and all that's left to do is get your melty, meaty little man, dunk it in your consomme, and let all of your problems fade away.
These tacos are coveted by both the culinarian world and the internet for a very good reason. So without further ado, the proper way to eat these is to dunk. You want it to be messy, all right? Don't be a little baby. Only a little baby can be a little baby. You ever think about that?